Today on Veterans Stand Up, I'm continuing the conversation about customer experience with Martha Dorris. Well, Martha, customer experience is coming to government, and you've just testified before the Senate. Tell me some of the takeaways from your testimony.
Thanks for the question, Paul. So the first point I made in the testimony was that democracy is built on a system of trust. And people expect a government that is reliable. When they need services, then they need the government. They expect them to be there to provide those services in a seamless, empathetic, consistent, accurate way. The second thing was customer experience is difficult in the private sector, but the government has unique challenges, and it really breaks down all the stovepipes, which is why it is so difficult. And the third thing was that customer experience is not about technology alone. In fact, one story that I think really exemplifies that point is when the MRI machine was created, the creator, Doug Dietz, went into actually witness or view the machine being used, and a little girl was going into the machine and she was crying, and her dad was like, "Be a big girl, come on, you can do it." And the room is dark, the room is cold, it's very ugly, lots of loud noises. And so he was stunned and really heartbroken that the machine that he thought was so good was having that kind of experience. So he put a design team together, and they created through different teachers, other design thinkers, and they created a jungle scene that then created an experience so that the next time he went in, the child was like coming out of it, and he was like, "Well, when can I do this again?" So he really, even though he had the same technology at the beginning, the first time and second time, they thought more about what that full experience was going to be using it.
Sure. Now, you also made recommendations to Congress. What did you recommend they do?
I did. I recommended that they create a federal chief customer experience officer that can really bring chief customer officers from the government together and cross-pollinate, share experiences, best practices. Also, for high-impact service providers, have a chief customer officer, and to hold agencies accountable for service levels that are kind of grounded in a maturity model and a scorecard.
Now, if Congress does what you say in your recommendations, what would I expect to see different in the next 2 years?
I think in the next 2 years, when the public needs a service from the government, they can get service anytime, anywhere, on any device. If they want to go on a website, they can get their question answered. If they want to pick up the phone, that someone will answer it. You'll get consistent answers across these channels. You may not even, you shouldn't even be, you should be able to have forms that are electronic, and your data should be able to be passed between channels. So it should be a 21st century experience in a digital way, but not keeping in mind that you have other people to serve.
Understand. Well, those sounds like powerful recommendations. How can someone learn more? How can a viewer learn more about customer experience in government?
Well, I think performance.gov/CX has all the information about how the government is handling customer experience. But I try to aggregate all of the information from federal, state, local, international in the Citizen Services newsletter. And I have a podcast called The CX Tipping Point on my website, DorrisConsulting.com.